Imagine being in the Army and being faster than the rest of the other soldiers around you. And instead of being praised for your strength without a Ranger tab, I was humiliated for it. In this video, I wanted to talk about toxic leadership in the Army, how it had a huge impact on my mental health, and I'm specifically focusing on one captain who liked to use humiliation tactics and bring me down, tear me down. Even when I was doing well in specific things, he always had a way to bring me down. So I want to talk about running. You know, I was always a really good runner. And you know what? I pride myself in my ability to run. I work hard at it. Just like I worked hard when I went to Ranger school. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. I came back without a tab. This particular captain was the second in command of the operations shop. There was a major that was one rank higher than him, but this captain was the second in command, and he was the one who would execute the physical training that the major came up with. So this major did value running like me, but the captain did not. He was very, very well-regarded captain, very well accomplished. So he kind of just had everybody's respect, and he was like a really, really popular person. We'll just put it that way. And when I would do really well in these track workouts that the major would come up with, or run-in workouts like tempo runs, of course I wanted to try to prove myself. I had just failed at Ranger school. I knew that that was a really big deal. And in a lot of ways, I was already early on experiencing toxic leadership, as well as just the downsides of not having a tab and what it was doing to me. So obviously I was going to try to do the best that I could in these runs, and I did, and I was excelling. And anytime that I did something well, like run faster than the rest of the lieutenants in the shop, this particular captain would basically, in front of kind of like the formation of us lieutenants, he would make it known that my strength as a runner was not really a strength. And he would publicly humiliate me, saying that I'm only strong because I'm weak. And he would talk about how you're only fast because you can't lift a lot of weights in the gym. And he would also talk about the Ranger tab and how I don't have that. So basically, I just couldn't do anything right. It's like I could show up and do the best I could, and if I could run a mile faster than everyone else in the shop, it didn't matter because I didn't have a Ranger tab and I was not big and strong. Moving on. This same captain, he takes on a command probably about a year later or so. And I find out that he's publicly talking about me in front of the entire unit. I found out about this because I was on staff duty, and a private at the time came up to me and said, "Why does Captain," I'm not going to put out his name, "hate you so much?" And he basically ended up exposing some of the things that he said. And he said that this particular captain likes to talk about you in the front of the unit. He likes to say that you're weak and you can't lift a lot of weights and you don't have a Ranger tab and nobody cares that you can run faster than everyone else in the squadron, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What I want to talk about now that I've kind of covered why this particular captain or what he did to me, at the time, I was too intimidated. My mental health was kind of at an all-time low. And I had these thoughts that maybe I should report these things to legal authorities, but I never did. I just always assumed I just need to push through and I'm just going to get through this. So I never went and I never saw anybody. 13 years later, I am actually considering reaching out to legal authorities. And whether I make that choice or not, I mean, it probably doesn't matter at this point so many years later. But if I make that choice, that's a personal choice. What I want to say to people who are under toxic leadership, whether you're in the military or in the civilian world, is that you should speak up for yourself. You should get help. If you need to get mental health, professional help because of the toxic leadership, go ahead and seek that help, because it took me too many years of just suffering in silence before I finally decided to get help. And I actually needed a positive Ranger tab leader to give me the encouragement to do that. I talk about that in another video. If your toxic leadership is so bad, I'm not encouraging you to not follow legal orders. I mean, if you're in the military, you're going to have to follow orders that are legal. But what I am encouraging you to do is, if you are under a complete blanket of toxic leadership, you should go get help. You should reach out to JAG and legal authorities, and you should expose the leadership that is toxic in front of you. Even if you are afraid like me and intimidated like me, you should take the legal ways and just expose what is going on, because it is not right for anyone to be under a complete blanket of toxic leadership. So if you guys have any stories of toxic leadership, I know I'm not the only person who's struggled with that. I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I'd love it if people try to keep it professional. I know my videos tend to always get some trolls, and that's just the nature of the game. But I'd love to have a more professional dialogue and discussion with civilian and military about how we can go about working in a world where we can try to, I guess, stick up for ourselves against toxic leaders. So I'd love to hear from you, and I'll catch you on the next one.